Hi, you clicked on this video, which probably means that you want to know what it's about. So OPPO, or Oppressing the Oppressors, is an organization that specializes in strengthening women's voices in Cairo, Egypt, or Egypt as a whole actually. Because as a founder, I feel that it is something imperative for this country to just improve in women's voices being heard and the respect that they have from people, a lot of the time men. And right now, as this video is going up, there is no current link as it is being modified. However, if you click on the subscribe button below or click on just our channel, the link should be up to our website by the time that this video goes up. So the videos you're about to see are a series of interviews that were done in AIS West, American International School. I interviewed the staff members and students to get their perspective on their views of sexual harassment in Cairo, Egypt, and if they've ever experienced it. And I think you'll be very surprised by the amount of negative feedback that we received based on sexual harassment. First person really quite sad. Mr. Andreas, who is a TOK teacher, and yeah, the story he said to us was kind of disturbing and pretty sad. Like, what's your definition of sexual harassment?
Well, it's a violation of a woman's personal space, physically. It can also be psychological, in the sense that men, particularly, taking their dominant privilege, will in effect try to shape a woman's idea of what they should be doing in the company of that man.
And have you ever witnessed a woman in Egypt being sexually harassed? And what was it? Verbal, physical?
Well, this is actually kind of an odd situation. I was walking through Mohandasi, and I was in the company of my wife and a teacher here, who happened to be an African-American teacher a couple of years back. And I was walking ahead because I was talking to another person, and I had no idea that between like 2 city blocks leaving the Medan, Lebanon, heading towards another part of the neighborhood there, going to a restaurant, that the African-American woman was grabbed by her arm, pulled, and she was basically slapping off, if you will, people. Now, I was right in front, so the bottom line was I didn't totally witness it, but my wife and the friend were about 17 steps behind, so it was a good distance. I couldn't hear it. We got to the restaurant, and then they explained the whole thing to me. It was like, just because I was not in their company, they were being, not my wife, but the woman that was with her was being grabbed, touched, pulled, because they assumed that she was available for their unfortunate invasion of her space.
And do you think that we can overcome sexual harassment in Egypt?
Well,
or to a certain extent?
No, everything, social change takes time, but yeah, it can happen. I hear that it's quite rampant, and so that would suggest what you're doing right now is part of the solution, raising consciousness, surfacing questions, and asking people to be a judge of their own conduct. Because often, as you study this, you realize that certain people say to themselves, gosh, I didn't really think I was being abusive, but in fact, because the man, the male in this culture, is in a dominant privilege role, he is really unaware of just how his message is being received, even if it's just verbal.
Thank you so much. So, we interviewed, this is Ms. Stephanie Katera, and she answered, pretty basic questions as everybody is, and the answers still weren't exactly they weren't appealing. So what do you think, how would you define, in your own words, sexual harassment?
Any unwanted attention, whether it be verbal or physical, by anyone of the opposite sex or the same sex as myself.
And have you ever been sexually harassed?
Yes, both in America and abroad. It hasn't been centralized to one location.
But in Egypt, do you feel like it's more frequent than it is abroad?
I think it has been more frequent here in Egypt, but since I've been here for 7 years, I've developed a skin, but I do notice it towards myself and my fellow friends and local Egyptians.
And do you think that as a community you could change the sexual harassment in Egypt, or do you think that it's too far gone?
No, I think there's always hope and education that can take place, and just with any change, it's going to take time to present itself. But if we start early with the youth and we start sending that message that it's not acceptable for men or for women to receive such treatment, and that our bodies and our minds are respectful things, that should be the hope that people have to change.
How would you guys define sexual harassment, like in your own words, whatever pops to mind first?
I feel like it's if men touch women inappropriately, or look at them inappropriately, or speak about them inappropriately,
Or make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And have you guys ever experienced or seen someone being sexually harassed?
Yeah.
What happened in one of those incidents? If you could give us a bit of detail.
Well, I was once sexually harassed. A guy touched my butt. I was standing in an elevator, and he smacked my butt, and I turned around, and my parents yelled at him, and I yelled at him. And I was still young. I was still 12. Yeah.
Do you think that as a community, all of you guys and me and everybody in the Egyptian community who wants to make a difference, do you think that we can actually make a change and like fix sexual harassment, or do you feel like it's gonna be here forever and there's no possible way of fixing it?
I feel like we can fix it.
Yeah, this is a very good choice.
It's gonna be hard, of course, but it is fixable. You just have to put the word out there. You have to spread it all around. You have to show that it's not okay, because people are taught that it's okay, and it's not.
Thank you so much.
So as you just saw, we interviewed three students at AIS West, and it's pretty sickening to know that a 12-year-old was physically harassed. Yeah, no. So we just interviewed the business teacher, and again, the answers that I expected, which is pretty sick.
So I just wanted to ask you, considering you're a woman and you're in Egypt and you teach here and you've been, you live here,
Yeah.
what is your definition of like sexual harassment personally?
Yeah, it's not only touching, because most men think that if I did not touch you, then I did not sexually harass you. It's from the look, from even telling friends, like, take a look at this girl or something. Even if they're joking around or saying even good things, like you look pretty, or they did not use bad language, I see this sexual harassment as well.
Has it ever happened to you or a friend or somebody you know?
No, it happened to me a lot. Everything. The words, the physical contact and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And do you think that the men here think it's okay, or do you think they've been raised to believe it's okay?
Both. Some people were brought up seeing that this is fine, and others, they feel that it's okay because you're wearing something that provokes them in some way, that then it's fine that I sexually harass you. And for other girls who are wearing like fine, no, they think no, I can't sexually harass you. But some people are actually brought up, you're a woman, you're a target. So it's both. It's a combination of both.
And lastly, do you believe that women should be free to wear what they want and not have to worry about being sexualized by men?
To some extent. Even if you're not in Egypt, every place has its own culture and tradition, and every place, even inside of Egypt, if I'm at the pool or at the beach, definitely my clothes is different than coming to school. When you're coming to school as students, you have certain outfit that you can come with. So I believe that, okay, I am free to wear whatever I want. As a woman, I just need to take into consideration, not because I'm being sexually harassed, it's just I'm going to a place that does not fit wearing like this. However, if I still want to wear what I want, I'm not saying it's okay to be sexually harassed as well. Because when foreigners come, for instance, some people are walking in hot shorts and everything, and they don't bother them because they think that they can go into a real problem if they do. So it's not a matter of what you're wearing; it's just the attitude.
Thank you.
Okay, we just interviewed three students, and they made pretty good points about how the man should, or the boy, or whoever should be educated on like not harassing women, whereas it shouldn't be that women are told not to dress up in a certain way so that they don't evoke this attention or they don't bring about.
So, have you guys ever been sexually harassed or sexualized here in Egypt?
Yes.
Of course, if you live.
Why, of course?
Because it's happened to me so many times.
And
I've never been educated towards not sexually harassing women.
do you guys feel like women should?
There isn't any rule in law to stop them, so they do it.
Do you guys feel like women should speak up more and have more of a
Yes.
voice and
Definitely.
defend their position?
And more than that, I think men should be educated towards not sexually harassing women.
Ms. Dareen, she's the biology teacher for grade 9 and the physical science teacher for grade 10. Again, the story she said to us was pretty expected and really sad, especially since she was covered up, as she said.
So, what would your definition of sexual harassment be? Like, how would you, in your own words, what comes to mind when you think of sexual harassment?
Anything like any sort of reference to a woman in a bad way. I consider this sexual harassment.
And have you ever had an experience of being sexually harassed in Egypt?
Yes, I recall that I was going to college one day, and because it was my first year in college, so it wasn't yet the time to drive. So I used to take one of the public transportations that go to my school, and it was the CTA bus. And I was sitting on my chair, and then I started to feel like something that's pushing me from behind under the chair. And at the beginning I thought I was like maybe just imagining crazy. But then I started to feel like something like fingers touching me. And I didn't do anything other than that. I just wanted to make sure that this thing is really happening. So very slowly I started to move my hand behind my back, and then I caught his hand. So you know this space between the back of the chair and the seat of the chair. So this guy was like trying to put his hand in this space to touch me from the back. And I grabbed his hand. And then he suddenly grabbed his hand quickly and he stood up. I was sitting in the second row, and I can see him in the mirror of the driver. And I found him like he pulled his hand very quickly. He stood up and he left and went out, like he stopped the bus, and he was gone.
And do you think that these men think it's okay, or were brought up to think it's okay, or do you think that they just do it because they feel like they're masculine, they're more powerful, so they can do this if they want to do this? It's up to them.
Some of them think that way, others think the other way. So some men think that yes, it's okay. It's like it's the right action to do this with any woman, as long as she's not fully covering. However, I was fully covered that time. But other men, you can say that they have some psychological problems. That's why
And
they do that.
the last question, obviously women have to stand up for themselves, especially in a country like this because it's such a problem. How do you suppose we would do that?
Actually, we're doing this, right? I don't feel that women are. They are fighting for the rights right now, and their voices are loud, kind of.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about sexual harassment in specific, there have been lots of discussions and lots of arguments about that, but now a girl or a woman knows what exactly to do if something like this happens. She can stand up in public and she can do a big scandal in front of everyone. So I don't think there's a problem regarding this right now. Women can do that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
We just interviewed Ms. Fatma, who is a Arabic tutor who actually teaches me Arabic from home, and Yeah, no, it's really sad that with all of these perspectives on sexual harassment in Egypt, they all fell into the same place, and while there was difference, it was difference in the actual sexual harassment, and none of them were good. They were all pretty bad.
هو حضرتك عمري اتحرضتي بالتحرش يعني باللمس او بالكلام قبل كده في مصر؟
اكيد طبعا، معظم ستات مصر هما بيتعرضوا لكده. وسائل المواصلات، إيه انت ماشيه في الشارع واحد يقولك كلمه، البصه نفسها ممكن تكون بصه، هو بيبص لكل حاجه فيكي او للحاجه اللي هو شايفها انها لازم يبص عليها عشان يبقى هو مبسوط. فممكن يكون التحرش ده بكلمه، ببصه، من هو يلزق فيكي وانت قاعده في المواصلات.
حصلت لك قبل كده يا مس؟
اوكي طبعا طبعا. مفيش مصر يعني مفيش يعني 90% من ستات مصر حصل لهم تحرش، سواء بالبصه او باللبسه يعني.
يا لهوي. وحضرتك حاسه ان الرجاله بيشوفوا نفسهم كده احسن من الستات فممكن يعملوا اللي هم عايزين يعملوه
في
يعني؟
طبقه معينه، في الاغلبيه العظمى من الرجاله في مصر هم شايفين دايما ان هم احسن. اوكي، هو الاسلام قال فيه قوامه، بس هو قال كمان خلي بالك من الست وراعي الست، وان الست هي دي ليها كيان وليها هو. لكن احنا في مصر للاسف الرجاله مش عندها كده، هو عندها ان هي عليها واجبات وعليها حقوق، لكن حقوقها هي ايه ما بتاخدهاش.
وحضرتك حاسه لو الستات حاولوا يغيروا التفكير ده ممكن تحصل ولا صعب؟
لا، انا شايفه انه صعب، لان الراجل المصري اتربى على كده. الراجل الشرقي عموما وخاصه المصري، خاصه يعني حطي تحتيها خطين، الراجل المصري خاصه، لا، لان ده تربيته كده ان هو عنده قوامه، وهو السيد، وهو ان انتي لا انتي مالكيش لازمه، وانتي ده الراجل المصري. فصعب ان هم يعملوا
We're able to make a difference, and I truly believe that we will be able to make a difference. We just have to put forth the effort to do it, and we intend on putting forth as much effort as possible. Thank you for watching this video.